Look, I think of myself as a pragmatist, so I do tend to agree with the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which is why I have some serious choice words for the work that President Trump has decided to do on the Lincoln Memorial's reflecting pool. If you haven't been following this story, and I really can't blame you if you haven't, there's obviously so much bigger stuff going on. Well, yeah, I'll just catch you up, get you up to speed on this kind of smaller issue that also has me going nuts. Trump has recently drained the entire reflecting pool and is painting it blue so that the water will look bluer. And not just any blue, American flag blue, which he's very proud of. I'm sorry, how much is this costing? I'm so glad you asked. Initially, he said it would cost about $2 million, which seems steep to me for paint. Then he updated the budget to about $13 million, which doesn't just seem steep, it actually seems fraudulent. Who is looking into that? This is just so goddamn embarrassing. Why are we doing this? It's not Stephen Miller's hair. You can just spray paint it to perfection. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest this week is professor, author, and podcast host Kate Bowler. I love her so much. Oh, I laughed so much during this interview. She is so funny. It is always just a huge treat to get to talk and laugh with her. So take a listen and make good choices. Oh my gosh, what a pleasure to see you.
Oh my gosh. We met once for 1 second for 1 hour in New York, and and everyone after was like, "Are you best friends with that woman?" And I was like, "I wish," and I'm so grateful.
Oh my God. You know what is so crazy? I had a dream about this conversation. No, I did not. But when I was, because I've been, I'm like, first of all, I listen to you and all of that. But like around the book, you kind of, you pick it up.
Yeah.
You go like, I'm going to watch this interview about it. I'm going to watch this interview. And as I was researching, almost every single person who talks to you is like, are you my best friend? And I had that experience of you.
But I do though. I feel weirdly like, your unusual, like the baked in parts of your personality feel so akin to how I grew up. You are the over serious weirdness that made this chrysalis is my favorite one.
It's my favorite too. And I have to say that like, we don't talk much for two best friends, but I feel I share this kinship with you. I mean, I do remember we talked a lot about growing up in Canada, and I could talk about it for 1,000 years straight without ever stopping.
I did, after our conversation, go and look up the restaurant that you went to with trees to find out that they had in fact been shut down 5 years later because of health and safety concerns for its workers.
Did the trees harbor the trees? It was biological.
It wasn't. It was a commune. It was fine. It was dirty.
Highly microbial. But the food was delicious. If people are listening, there was a vegetarian restaurant in Winnipeg that was very good, and it was in the nook of a tree, and you would just sit there and eat your tempeh. Very, very good, very tasty. Okay, you have joyful anyway, and a pennants behind you.
I do.
It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I think this book is great. Everybody's loving it so much. What is your tour like? Have you launched this book? Because I'm seeing you all over.
I I went big. I did a week in Canada, and then I did a month in the States, and then I did a week in the UK. Okay. And I just brought my anti-happiness message to loathe this generation.
You know what? I feel like it's timed pretty perfectly for the world that we're living in currently. Like,
it's funny because I tried to do it like a show where I'd basically come out and then it was just whatever was in the headlines that day,
right?
And to comment on the greater experience of apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, the headlines just did not disappoint. Every day the Pope had to pope so hard.
He's poping so hard. I am obsessed with the Pope right now, actually. We will talk about the Pope a little bit, but I am obsessed with his journey and what he's thinking and what it must be like for him to stand with Marco Rubio and just, like, he's probably having if I can speak for the Pope, which I will not, but I sort of will, he must be really wrestling with his humanity. Like, he's just internally going, as a human person, I'm having conflict in my heart. And as a religious figure, I'm also a loving person. So I'm bringing everyone very interesting.
They have this special designation when they speak as the Pope and when they just speak as a regular. And the as a Pope version is called ex cathedra, meaning like from the throne.
Okay.
And I like to imagine in that moment, he's like, I'm just going to switch right to Latin. Prevent me from saying all the things I would say otherwise.
Wow, that is a real duality. Okay. First, can we we need to set a baseline, I feel like. So the book is called Joyful Anyway. You talk about the difference between happiness and joy and how even unhappy people can have moments of joy. Can you just articulate why is joy not the same thing as happiness?
I did think they were the same until this research for the book. And I realized that happiness has a very distinct psychological profile. Happiness will feel like ease. It will feel relaxed and like things are going your way. So maybe your favorite song's on the radio and you get to call your friend later and you get this little stepping stone feeling of nice, lovely, small things that will kind of add up to this greater feeling, which is happiness. And it took me a while to realize that happiness is what luck feels like.
Oh, that's so interesting. It's like when someone cancels a plan on you.
Exactly. Right. Precisely. And you're right back in your jammies.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because happiness in that way is circumstantial. Mm-hmm. It's actually, if you think about it, pretty expensive because just to organize your life in a way in which you get to feel relaxed, it really usually takes a lot of factors to make a happy person.
Okay.
Joy, on the other hand, is not a sense of ease. It will feel big and bright and awake. It, like happiness, does hit your dopamine, your reward system, but joy also engages your stress system, meaning that you can be in like a really strange, maybe emotionally complicated situation,
right,
and still somehow joy can find you there. So you might be at a funeral and the pastor has mispronounced your loved one's name for the 14th time, and you feel like lightly hysterical giggles, and you could hate yourself. But actually, you can feel this kind of awakeness to your own life where all of a sudden you just say, oh my gosh, yes, it is so good to be alive.
I think that is so beautiful. That is very clarifying. It is like laughing, like when you're, not to bring it back to funerals necessarily, but because when you're at a funeral, you are also hopefully celebrating someone's life. And that's what a celebration of life is. There's like laughter and sadness and complexity. And hopefully you kind of leave feeling, not elated. It's like elated is not the right word, but vibrant.
Yes.
Colorful,
totally.
Right?
Yeah, like it all, like there's something satisfying about a moment where you kind of get to play all the notes. Like you get to play the truths that are in a major key and then the truths that are in a minor key. There's a sweetness to it when we get to really like hear the whole song. And so I think like it's happiness is so lovely, but in a way it's kind of a simple emotion. It's all crowded onto the one end of the emotional spectrum.
Right.
But joy kind of lets you get that whole feeling of enormous range, which frankly like is the stuff of life.
Right. I like thinking of it. I like how you just articulated that it's like happiness can feel like be circumstantial in a way. It's just a little more fleeting, a little more like ups and downs. You're happy, you're unhappy, and all of this. But joy is kind of like the undercarriage of the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think then it should be a huge relief for people who might struggle with depression or have a complicated job or a complicated relationship, just to know that even though they might not be in one of those long seasons of happiness, that they are still capable and have really, frankly, I think all of us kind of have an enormous capacity for joy.
Right. Oh, so it's like climate, not the weather. Maybe.
Oh, that's
Is that good? That
I
feels
like that.
That feels right to me.
I like that.
What can I ask? What drove you to do this research? What was the catalyst for this book? What led you to this place?
Well, normally in my job as a historian, I'm usually taking apart cultural stories that people tell about health, wealth, and happiness. So I'm usually looking at something like a wellness message or like a everything happens for a reason kind of greeting card saying, and then I'll look at the history of it and kind of talk about why people find that so comforting, but why it's frankly like so unsatisfying. So in my life, I do a lot of deconstruction, but then I just always felt like, but what do I really believe though? Like what lovely thing do I think we can still promise each other no matter what? And I just noticed that in my own life, in really difficult times, like when I was really going through it with my cancer diagnosis, I noticed these very surreal like pockets of feeling kind of carried by something that felt kind of more durable than just regular happiness. So I was like, well, what is that weird, mysterious, wonderful thing? And can I have more of it?
Right,
and also just like, why does it feel so mysterious? So that kind of is what set me on the journey of sort of figuring out this mystery of joy.
Can you, I mean, this is a question I hadn't thought of before, but can you consciously tap into it? Like, can you, does that make sense? Like, how does a person access, like on a bad day, I mean, you may not have the answer to this question, but how do we access that on a day when, let's say, I mean, in recent past, when, okay, the president threatens to wipe out a civilization. It's a very dark day, like dark times, dark days. I felt it. You could feel it in the air. Did several events, speaking things, and there was an oppression in the air, a terror. How can you access that, or do you personally, are you able to?
Well, I do think starting with reality is key, because if you feel, and we are living in lightly apocalyptic times.
Lightly.
We're going to put lightly in quotation. We are living in, I mean, it really does feel like full apocalypse, even though we like to imagine it's just kind of like diet apocalypse. All the apocalypse, just half the calories as we make it through.
Right. Yes, it's
somehow.
like question mark times. Like so many question marks and exclamation marks that we're just like, I don't even know.
Democracy question mark?
What's even the question? There are too many.
I totally agree. There's there's that great word for it, like precarity. It just means like things given, but then maybe taken away in a second.
Yes.
And if you have this much precarity, then if you ask yourself or other people, like, how can I choose joy? You do start to feel like you're that crazy lady on Instagram who's just like.
Just a simple trad wife. You've got 16 kids. You've got a top-notch line of pancake mixes, and you're doing it all. Just you alone with your nails impeccable.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. She chooses it every day. She wakes up in the morning. And that kind of like expectation of emotional labor is so fundamental to the theater of our Instagram. We're just seeing women choose joy left, right, and center. They can't help it. They literally can't help it, though. They're not allowed to not choose it.
Their staff of 16 will not permit them to falter.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes. Because this like our good vibes culture doesn't really let us start where we need to start if we're going to be honest about what's happening right now. And so I think starting with reality kind of almost, it like sets you in wherever you are in that place between despair and just surreal optimism. You're like, hey, where are we today? Are we in the like, nothing's going to be better? Are we feeling like we're seeing possibilities? Once we establish ourselves in reality, I think we can then say what's true about joy, which is that joy is both a gift. It's a surprise, which is annoying because then you can't surprise yourself.
Right.
Surprise. It's awful. You do wish you could structure surprises, but
yes.
That'll be
boy.
amazing.
I love a list. I love just a structured surprise sounds incredible.
It's like Mother's Day, basically. You pretend.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I have to tell you this. I structured Mother's Day. I structured it and then I failed so badly. And because I made a reservation for May 17th. We showed up, we all dressed up, we went to the restaurant. They were like, you are not on this list. And I was like, do you want to look at my app? I had the date. They were like, you're an idiot. And so I told my whole family, I was like, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to walk around the block and cry to myself for 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes to myself to cry. And then we're going to have a really nice day. We're going to find a different restaurant. And that's what we did. So structured like a little compartment that you could,
that you could hide your real feelings in for a moment.
But also somehow still state them. Still model having bad feelings about yourself and letting them go.
I love that you were I'm going to cry my way around a block and you're going to let me on Mother's Day.
Yeah, when I come back, I'll be normal. But I can't be normal in front of you right at this moment.
I can't believe that restaurant didn't let you in. Those monsters.
They could. It's the worst day of the year for them. I can't take it out on. You can't take it out on them. They're like, please, we're struggling to survive.
I just wish for one moment you'd be one of those people where after they're like, man, she forgot she was famous. Just for one moment, just like absolutely lose your mind.
No, they were too young to know that. They were just like, she's escaped from the assisted living facility and she's here and she thinks she has a reservation. But there's joy in pain. Mm-hmm. There's joy.
Well, you could still find it. But no, you're right. I do think that's a good beginning. You got to cry it out first. Yeah. And then when they say like joy is a gift, but also a task, like I think there's a couple things you can do to kind of put yourself in the way of joy. And I think one of them is just reminding yourself, like, by looking into the past of times where you thought it wasn't going to show up and it showed up anyway. Like to like put despair in its place. Like just because we're living in a time where we're not sure who's testing the strength of highway bridges or making sure gerrymandering isn't widespread or not sure who's launching missiles.
We're not sure who's covering hantavirus right now. Who's on top of that? Who's on top? Is anyone?
When I read those, When I read those things, it's like, man leaves antivirus ship, goes to crowded wedding, goes to many crowded weddings.
I'm like, do you need a few more middle-aged women on your roster? We don't need the glory. We just want to pick up the pieces. We're right there with the dustpan. we just grab this hantavirus patient and maybe scoop them up. Should we scoop them up?
I totally agree. You need to go around disappointing everyone's expectations so that 100%. They just go home and stop giving each other horrible diseases.
Jeez, I totally
Louise. Agree. Oh. So I do think there is something about airing reality, being more clear about where we find ourselves. And then I think it really is kind of gets down to that place almost of like belief is, because I would say honestly, like I believe in joy. Like I believe that we are capable of it. And I believe that when we can find more and more ways to say yes, that it is more and more likely to find us.
I love that. Do you feel like as you're teaching, because you're talking about these concepts in the classroom setting, is it different now than it was even 10 years ago? Do you feel a substantive change?
I think that this story we've all been telling ourselves about post-World War II, like liberal progress, that there was this consensus that all institutions were kind of moving toward getting better and better. And it was just our Obama feelings ad infinitum. And we all had a theory about where culture was going. And in some cases, we can see, like, for instance, the future of customized medicine right now looks incredible.
Right.
For people who can afford to live, they're going to live for a really long time. We're so happy for them. But meanwhile, an utterly viable medication for HIV/AIDS is now no longer available because the demise of USAID in much of sub-Saharan Africa. So I think we need a pretty expansive imagination to be this unsure. And also then I think really what I especially see in my students who go on and work as social workers and as pastors and chaplains, like I think they are seeing how very desperately we need a new vision for community, because we are going to have to carry each other if we're going to be able to move forward.
Yes. This has all been so destabilizing, I guess. Like it feels like I don't know if you observe this, but I kind of look at the world of entertainment even, and I think it's almost like for a large part of the population, like the values have actually changed. Like people's values have changed, or maybe it was just like kind of peeling the layers off, peeling shame off of those like deeply felt values, which is also destabilizing. People kind of talking about the worst things out loud with no hesitation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do think one thing that appears to be changing in the wrong direction is people's contempt for one another. There's a lovely, I think, incredibly useful index called the Dignity Index that Tim Shriver, who runs the Special Olympics, has created. And they follow all the kind of stats on how people rate their neighbors and each other's politics. And what they're finding is that like the volume of people's, like the loudness of people's disgust for each other is going up and up and up because of, misinformation, the way that we now almost exclusively interact with each other online instead of in real communities. And so I do really worry that we just now, our permanent dial setting is at condescension and loathing. Right.
Oh, God.
It really worries me.
Oh, that was very worrying.
we only hate each other. It's so sad.
Oh my God, my ribs hurt. totally right. I do feel like there is, kind of also generationally, there is a big difference. It's like there was with social media, like we're all using it as a tool, but it did, it used to sort of be like that, an aspirational, you watched, this is a bad example, but you watched The Cosby Show, and that was aspirational at the time.
Yep.
You were like, wow, he's a doctor and I want to live in a brownstone. I want to live in New York. And then you watched it for 30 minutes and you turned off your television and you kind of went back to your life. But now aspiration is everywhere all the time. Trad wives are everywhere all the time, projecting non-reality into your eyeballs, and it's just everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
It can't help but create unrest if you let it in. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
I totally agree. I think we're sort of just full of everybody else's distorted stories, and we find it very difficult to land inside of our real lives, our real relationships, and really like our real hungers, instead of just the hungers that are like stoked by sort of watching an endless version of like Burger King commercials.
Right. Yeah. I like that you talk about understanding the reality, like living in the reality. I think it's very important. Listen, I watched this interview with Taylor Swift the other day, and she was first of all, what a songwriter. What a songwriter. Love her, hate her, I don't care. I love her.
Me too.
She's a very special person. I don't know her at all.
She's a very special person.
She's free to listen to this episode and know that I am keenly aware of her storytelling abilities. But she did an interview for the New York Times, and she said something like, I don't think there's, it's not, sorry. Oh, now I'm menopausal. Hi, I'm perimenopausal. She was like, I don't think anything is too true. I don't think there's anything that's not, there's nothing that's too true. Truth is just truth. Mm-hmm. And I think tapping into that it's very powerful. Like, I'm writing a book about aging, which is hard. Like, it's like, it's very hard work. It's like hard work. You're like, but it's also an incredibly joyful and invigorating experience. And I feel like what you're saying is the joy is invigorating, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because it's this relationship between, because I watched that Taylor Swift interview and I thought she was so good in describing longing. Yes. She's like amazing at describing longing. And the more she did, the more I was like, yes, this is what I think about this ache we all have inside, that we're very achy people, that there is actually wonderful, like historical and psychological and theological language for this feeling that we're really hungry to be alive. We're hungry for love. We're hungry for recognition. It just like hungry, hungry, hungry. And we can either allow that to consume us in the way we've been talking about, with all the ugliness of comparison, of loathing, of just like letting it all get eaten up by fear.
Right.
Or we can use all this achiness to say, man, don't we hunger to be alive? And isn't our limitation, like aging, like illness, like all kinds of things that remind us that we're people, doesn't that ask us to like be awake to what is still available to us? And I just love it then when people use that as a permission to get more and more invested in the lives we actually have.
Right. Like living with 360 degrees.
Yes.
Just living your front, your back, your sides, all around, being living your complete life to the best of your ability. I think it's a very, it's powerful. It's really powerful.
I just don't want it to make me do gardening or any of those other horrible pandemic hobbies that everyone got really into. I want everyone to live their life, except if it involves people describing gardening to me. That's all I ask.
Okay, I need to know, what's the deal? I'm not going to describe gardening to you here and now. By the way, I don't do it.
I know it for some reason. I knew you didn't.
I don't do it.
And I like it about you.
You know what? I thought for a minute that I was a gardener. I was like, I'm going to get really into this. And absolutely never. My husband loves it. Loves it. He's got a little hat. He's got like a little Dora the Explorer hat. He goes out in the garden. He's always got a trowel. He absolutely, he's probably just trying to get away from me, like nattering at him. Whatever it is. We have tomatoes. There's a lot of stuff going on. What's your aversion to gardening? I need to know.
I just think that there's sort of awful ways, like sourdough, like the chicken times, the whole chicken times. I mean, look, I grew up Mennonite. You can't create romance around what's just outside.
Yeah.
In the words of my precious father, air conditioning is God's promise that we never have to go outside. So you can't make me. I'll go to the beach if I want to. But it would be as if someone was like, go to the beach, but then you be in charge of grooming the beach and making sure seaweed doesn't grow.
Get all these shells out of here. That's your job. You've got work to do.
Exactly.
Get on your knees.
Stop taking what is not my problem and making it my job. That's what I ask.
Well, you know what? That is joyful. It's actually good to know what you're not interested in. It's very detaching from the things that don't serve you.
Yes.
Very
my
good.
joy language is, I mean, other people love rainbows and it's so stupid. It's so stupid that I only ever remember that you know that you were unpopular as a child when you can always remember a Simpsons reference. But for me, it's when Reverend Lovejoy accuses other people of getting married outside in the cheap showiness of nature. And that's how I feel. So maybe some people like that. I love absurdity, so I will travel hundreds of miles to see like the world's largest ball of twine, the world's largest pair of dehydrated bear legs, not boots, like the legs of the bear.
Oh, the legs of the bear. The legs of the whole bear is dehydrated or just the legs?
Thanks for asking. It's actually, I think they just lopped him off shoulders and then to paws, and then they dug out the middle, and then they're like, no, you wear it.
Oh my God. This coat is so warm and it has a built-in stool if you need it. Like a lean-to.
Exactly. Exactly. No one wants to hear about that, but suddenly I knew you would be okay with it.
I wanted to know that so badly. I wanted to know that. I do feel like there's the romance of COVID did well. We keep bees here, and we had one year that they all died. Just whatever. It happens. It's like it's agriculture, and sometimes all the bees just go like, fuck it, I can't. Who knows why? No. They all died. They were just all in piles at the. Oh yeah, it was awful. It's terrible. And I had just piles. Like
you're
hundreds,
the reason the bees are dying.
Just like 100,000 dead bees in a pile. Terrible. And the man who would come, he was like a beekeeper, and he would come, and I would come out and ask him questions and terribly bother him. He was such a mature man. I was crying. So he comes out and I'm like crying. I'm like, the bees have all perished. What could have happened? And he was like, I was in Vietnam. So another way to think of it is that they're great, but they're just bugs. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. for that perspective.
Just, if you're ever sad about something, you can just call me and I'll be like, I was in Vietnam. And I read about the Korean War.
If you need
I'll
a
relativize
little-
your feelings so
Yeah.
fast.
If you need just a touch of perspective today, there are worse things that have happened in this world.
Your beekeeper, merciless. Actually, that was not at all Jason Statham's response when he starred as the beekeeper. When he was so upset about financial fraud crimes committed against the elderly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
This was a movie that came out 2 years ago, and I watched it.
I can see the
on
poster.
airplane.
Yeah.
Mhm. And when he realized just the widespread nature of financial crimes against the elderly,
Yeah.
as a beekeeper, he realized he had to protect the hive. And he went on a homicidal rampage.
When so did my beekeeper.
You should check in to see who your beekeeper is. And if it's Jason Statham.
It's Jason Statham.
Yeah,
He's a
then crimes
beekeeper.
were committed afterwards, for sure.
No. Wow, that is. Okay, getting back to the book. I feel like we're at lunch. I want to take you out for lunch so bad.
I accept the terms of this agreement.
Oh. Do you want to live forever like a billionaire? Do you want to have? Does that seem?
No.
It feels like the biggest monkey paw wish in the world. Oof.
I keep meeting these guys.
Yeah.
They are just lifetime optimizers. They talk me through their bio wearables.
Oh,
and then
God.
they show me their performance metrics. And then when I wake up from the coma several hours later, I'm still listening to them uploading their consciousness. It's a kind of world. It's like they took the concept of zero inbox and then just pressed it directly into wherever their soul should reside.
Right.
And they're like, I can do this. And
It'll be me. I'll be the last one.
The first and the last. It's funny because it actually took me a while to even have optimizers as friends, given that I spent most of my 30s trying not to die from stage 4 colon cancer. And so I just find the whole premise deeply insulting. But when I can get over that part, I realize just how much, like how desperate we are to see our finitude as some kind of mistake. And surely there's got to be a workaround.
Yes. I don't even have a question or a comment, but yes, we are so desperate there's a whole kind of cohort of people who are just they've had it so good in this version of living that they're like, I absolutely am never letting this go.
I'm going to do this particular thing forever. I think the other bit that is sort of depressing about the expectation of more in that way is it's possible that one reason why they just want more is the math of their existing life is not adding up. And one huge missing piece for a lot of people is that there's a really weird and amazing relationship between joy and service. The more we pour ourselves into other people's problems, their struggles, their lives, it should be like math where we just give and then we have less because that makes sense. But weird, when we give, we often have more, and people get this incredible sense of like connectedness and purpose, and they also get a front row seat into the fragility of everybody else's life. So sometimes I do wonder if we could solve a little bit of the like mania of optimization if we just forced all of them to join like the Rotary Club. We're like, sucks for you. You're now giving speeches at the Rotary Club forever.
We talk about that all the time around here. We're like enforced service. Like there should kind of be. Like not like a draft. We're not talking about the military. We're just like a service portion of your adult life where you understand that you're going to go and be a missionary of peace or something in your community. Maybe your job is to just pick up trash. It doesn't really matter. But there should be some service component kind of baked into things. It's because I think that people don't like, people grow up, they've never done a service job.
Yeah, that's
There's a kind of a lack of, there can be a real lack of compassion just from never having had to experience a job. I'm making a very sour face for people who are just not watching this, but listening. People have never had a job until they turn 25. I don't think that's good.
I once worked at a Perkins family restaurant that continued to be struck by lightning and burned to the ground, and they kept rebuilding it.
They were like, we have Sundays. We have ice cream Sundays to scoop. We are rebuilding.
It was actually America's fault because it was in Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, but they were an American company and they thought, well, Canadians must be really, really into the Canadian flag, just the way Americans are. So they built a flagpole next to the Perkins family restaurant that was like 20 times higher than it needed to be. So it, of course, immediately became a lightning rod and burned that place to the ground. And then they rebuilt it, but they kept this stupid Canadian flag and it burned to the ground a second time.
That's
so
hilarious to me. I'm like, we don't listen. I don't know what your Canadian upbringing was like, but wouldn't have put up a flag for love or money. It was just not done. It was just like, what?
That's right. It's garish. We know who we are.
We know who we are. We're not jingoists. We don't need.
Take your rah-rah somewhere else, ma'am.
And yet, can you? I realized the other day that I think that I can sing the Canadian national anthem only in French, and I'm not French.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you?
That's a terre de nos aïeux.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's right.
It's really weird if you grew up in Canada, you start with they have the combination French-English version, and then you realize partway through, even though at one point you did speak French fluently, that it's all just this phonetic smush, and then a really strong ending. And you're like, you feel bilingual.
You feel bilingual, but it is just one long, it could be any language, actually. As I'm saying it, I don't know what any of the words distinctly mean on their own. Not a single one.
I promise you that when this recording ends, we'll give it a go. Just to see what we remember.
Just to see. Now, your earliest work centered on just the Christian idea of the prosperity gospel. Can you just like explain that a little bit to my listeners? And it is uniquely American, no?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's an enormous religious movement that believes that God will reward believers who have the right attitude and who speak positive words, that God will reward those people with health and wealth and happiness. And it's a pretty old theology, but it really became popular after World War II when it was like rise of the suburbs and Americans started getting more and more middle class in their expectation. And all of a sudden they didn't really need God as much for like health miracles because frankly, because vaccines were preventing infant deaths. Oh, those were the days. And then they, so starting in the 50s, and then it really took off in the 70s, it became a really enormous movement of people who expected that God would provide in every way. And at one point, about 40% of churches over 10,000 were prosperity churches.
Really? Are you seeing that emerging now? Because now there's a whatever the president's pastor, is a prosperity pastor.
Yeah.
And you must be seeing these themes just continuously emerge stronger and stronger and stronger over time.
It's really weird to start because like I'm a religious historian, and it's not like I'm the person at parties where people are like, explain the world to me, Kate. I'm always like, guys, there's this group. And I try to like lure people into my niche
Gather
interests.
round.
She's telling a tale of televangelists. And I will. But it was a kind of, the prosperity gospel is kind of like NASCAR. Like, if you know NASCAR, it's everywhere. But if you don't, you're just very unaware of its celebrities and its races and its schedule.
Right.
But prosperity gospel was like the thing you would watch on late night TV. But by the 80s, it had the third most visited theme park in the country after the two Disney World, was Heritage Park USA, which was run by two prosperity pastors.
Is that the one where Jesus was riding the dinosaur? Or Adam and Eve? Adam and Eve were riding dinosaurs.
That sounds familiar. It also sounds like they had a Holy Land experience in Orlando, Florida. I went to where you could see Jesus die every day at 3. Oh. Badly, just so badly. And I'm such a Christian, and I was like, this is very sad, but also moving. He was resurrected into basically a hall of mirrors and a fog machine in Orlando, and I was like, maybe
wow.
This is how I die. Oh God! It's definitely a whole world, but it went from being this kind of niche-y, mostly Pentecostal movement to, by the 2000s, even the phrase "best life now" was coined by a prosperity preacher.
Okay.
And
was
popularized. Was Joel Osteen, was popularized through prosperity channels before it became really kind of the mantra of the wellness industry.
Wow. So you're making so you're seeing just like deep connections to the history of this movement in our present day. And seems very, like I was not aware of that. It does seem it's whitewashed is the wrong word because it's quite white, but but more, it's just very mainstream.
Yeah, there's a process where things kind of seem generic, and that those are always the sayings I'm the most like religiously interested in, because they do always have like a past. Like 2 years ago, the word of the year was manifesting. I'm manifesting this, and usually people mean I spoke positive words or I thought positive things and I brought it into being with my own power. And man, I wrote the first history of the prosperity gospel. It's a book called Blessed, and it took me 10 years to write. And at that time, there was not one single inkling that I had that prosperity gospel would get rebranded for an entirely new generation under manifesting. And it's the identical kind of theological infrastructure about harnessing your mind as an engine and speaking it out loud. But now it's just like TikTok and Gen Z.
Do you connect this to joy? Like, does it connect to your present day work in this book?
I think what it really taught me is that everybody has a prosperity gospel. Everybody has like a shortcut they're trying to use to solve the problem called finitude, unhappiness, dissatisfaction, just the lifiness of life. And everybody has like a solution and a formula. And if it's not necessarily like directly spiritual, it's demanding everybody around you be happy and create like or it's your morning routine. Like it's your zero inbox. It's your rich dad, poor dad. I mean, everybody has a prosperity gospel, and they're typically marketed it directly to the anxieties of that specific demographic. And we just have a version of best life now that we're always trying to get to. Right. But for all those of us who can't always have a best life now, I was so just relieved to see how joy is something that we can be promised and promise each other no matter what the season of our life is. In part because we just, as human beings, we have incredible capacity to have more emotional bandwidth than we give ourselves credit for, and to want to really like engage in the harder parts of reality, but require things that sustain us. And so we can't just be fragile and demand that everybody around us be toxically positive. We need life-affirming, deeply soulful things that will make this life not just like worth living, but worth loving. And that's when it made me be like, man, I can really triple down on joy.
I love this so much. And I feel like, as you say, I mean, service is I don't know.
Yeah.
Service is like it magnifies, it increases, it multiplies joy. It multiplies your understanding of people.
Yeah.
It fills your buckets in ways that it's really hard to know until you're doing it. Actually, it seems very esoteric and it's easy to say, but the people who are doing it are feeling those feelings, and it's amazing. Oh my God, Kate, I have enjoyed talking to you thoroughly.
Samantha Bee, you are so devastatingly funny, and I adore you. Let's do this anytime.
Are the funniest. My ribs are stretched. That was such a good workout. Such a good abdominal workout.
That's right. It's all about your core. Best lifetime core.
Thank you so much. I optimized my core during this conversation, and that's what I knew I was going to do. That was my plan the whole time.
Your voice is so alarming when it's that high.
It's alarming at all times, but I can make it more alarming. I can only make it more alarming. I can't make it less alarming. Oh my God, thank you so much.
Oh, hon, I thank you so much for saying yes to this. That really, I've really been looking forward to this.
Kidding. I've been looking forward to it. That's our new stray cat.
I noticed that you had more
background.
animals than you appeared to take credit for.
Yeah, no, he walked up our driveway.
What?
That's one thing that I manifested. I said that in quotes. I told my whole family, I'm like, if a cat walks up this driveway at any time, it's coming inside the house. And he did.
And you trapped him.
And I trapped him. It's much better than how he was living under a bush. He's very happy.
Oh, no. Okay, let's phonetically do it because I'm pretty sure that it's not, that we both don't speak French. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, Canada. We'll just do the words. Okay, we can
Canada.
we can sing. Okay. Okay. Oh, Canada.
Terre de nos aïeux, ton front essaie de fleurs en glorieux.
Qu'à ton bras, c'est bon, te les paye.
Il sait porter la croix.
And that's carrying the cross, by the
Ton
way.
histoire est une épopée. What is that? Des plus brillants exploits.
That's right. And then it switches.
Et ta valeur.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And then I don't know the next word. Canada.
No, we don't know.
Oh my God, we lost the most important part. The big finish.
No, because
Yes, et nos droits. Protégerait.
Foi, like pride.
Oh, yes. You know what? That's pretty goddamn good.
But did you hear that they said, that one is like carrying the cross? The French hate religions. The fact that it's like the most overtly Christian version and the other one is super generic 60s. Right. I think it's hysterical.
Right.
Stay consistent.
Stay true to yourself, Frenchies. God, I love them so much. I love them so much. All right. Have a wonderful
Thanks,
day.
Sam.
And thank you.
My pleasure.
That was Kate Bowler, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. We were talking about Christian theme parks, and I had to know how many actually exist. Well, while there are still a handful in the U.S., the one that we were talking about, Holy Land USA, actually closed in 2020 and was demolished. Oh no, demolished in 2021. I guess, well, they'll say goodbye to my vacation plans. All right. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Bee, and we will see you next week for some more choice words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me, Samantha Bee. The show is produced by Svea Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Ryan Connor. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at RealSamB on Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.